Hello, my name is Anjani Segrist, and this video is about feminine and masculine energy looking through the lens of astrology. So, astrologically, we look at Venus to find out what form of the feminine that you most embody. This might look like the way you allure, the way you draw things in, what you are attracted to, and how you are attractive, like the ways that you embody the goddess. So for me, I have my Venus in Aquarius. So some of the things that I'm attracted to are cosmic consciousness, big picture perspective. The thing that is most attractive about me, in my viewpoint, is my intelligence, my brilliant mind, my ability to innovate and create things that are seemingly weird at some points. I question a lot of the creations I make, and it's like, I don't know if anybody else is going to get this. Some of my poetry and my writing and some jewelry that I make. But that is my allure. My connection to the goddess is this cosmic mind. So if you've been following my channel for a while, you may notice this. It's I have like this strange, sort of weird attractiveness about me. And I relate that to my Venus connection on my chart. I have Venus also square to Chiron, and the connections astrologically fits my storyline. And then Mars is the form of the god that you are embodying or that you represent or most resonate, relate to. For a lot of people, Mars energy gets diluted and shut down because Mars is the god of war. The way that we've related to Mars, and somehow we've related this to masculine energy. I think in its pure form, Mars is our masculine energy. And there is this sense of fierce, warlike assertiveness or aggression when we are not fully connected with that part of ourselves. It becomes projected out in aggressive ways. Something that I find really useful is getting that relationship to Mars worked from the inside. My Mars is in Pisces, so I don't have one of the warlike type of Mars energy, but we all have Mars energy, which is assertive. It's the way that we project our will out into the world. It's also the way that we do assert ourselves, asserting the will into the collective. So if we have a healthy connection with this, we will do it in a way that has bravado and has courage and bravery. And the person with a healthy Mars doesn't need to use brute force. Doesn't mean they don't know how, or they can't, or they don't know how to use it when they need to, because a healthy, intact Mars does. And it knows how to do that and when to do that. But I feel like in our culture, we have really shut down that type of energy that is going to question authority, and it is going to stand out and stand up and fight against things that are not correct for the collective. A lot of our people that we had in history who stood up for, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, any of there's so many people who they end up getting assassinated. It's the word we used to use. And these days, if anybody starts to do that, I feel like they are found committing suicide or something like that. And a lot of people, so when I ask myself, where is our healthy Mars energy in our collective right now? And I feel like I know them. I see those healthy Mars expressions in our collective, but people are a little scared to fully, you know, get that energy out because there's so many reasons. But I feel like there's ways to do it that don't have to be so outspoken. You don't have to be leading the revolution on the topic that you are most connected to, because that's another thing. We all have a topic that we are passionately protective about, and that we can look at Mars to find out what is it that we're fiercely passionately protecting and standing up for, and what will get you to speak up about something. We all have that. And when I'm asking, like, well, where, we need the one strong person for each of these sort of topics that are coming up that can really lead that movement further. And there are a few, and I admire and love you for what you're doing when you're, talking about these hard things, like harder things that are make us uncomfortable. And I really, really am grateful, because I know how hard it is and how hard it can be to oppose a viewpoint that is so deeply ingrained. And this is where Mars energy is really beneficial. So the healthy Mars doesn't need to be so offended by meeting its opposition. It can really listen and stand up for what it believes without having to use violence. So healthy Mars, very important and needed in our culture. If you are in a male body and you feel disconnected from your fierce, what am I fiercely protective of? What is it that I would stand up and fight for? Look at Mars. And if you have Mars in one of the Pisces or Cancer, initially, even when I look at that, initially I feel, wow, that must have been really hard for him, because his masculine expression is sensitivity, compassion, love, devotion to the family unit. Like, these sort of things are not what we would consider to be masculine. And then if you are in a female body and you feel disconnected from your Mars, usually what I find is that the people who are the biggest, feminist, angry at men in general. And when I find myself, there's days where I'll be like, wow, it's getting really, really hard to love men. And it's never been hard for me. Like, I've really had great relationships with men in my life, even when I've had, some of these things happen to me, like men trying to take my power. When I was just out of high school, I got married, and my husband tried to rape me, and I hit him with a iron, like one of those old fashioned irons. I hit him in the head with it, or maybe it just hit him somewhere in this head area. And when I pressed charges, I wasn't going to, but one of my male friends who was a cop brought me the paperwork and was like, you need to press charges. They filed a counter charges on me for attempted murder, for hitting him with the iron, and I just dropped it because I didn't want to. So that's just one example. I've got many examples of violations of my physical body, and also paperwork, on a lot of paperwork things where, feeling oppressed and not able to stand up against this male figure that seems to dominate. But in that, I still have always felt that the people who are trying to dominate me and dominate others, they are weak inside. They also don't have a strong connection to their soul, or to their masculine energy, or to any type of that timelessness within. They're really, that's what I felt anyway, that they were scared and they don't feel powerful, and so they're trying to take power away from me and other people. And in these times now, it's 2018, at times I find myself feeling, not in love with men as as much as I used to be and as much as I'd like to be. And I've heard a lot of my female clients saying things like, I don't even need a man. I don't even need a man except for sex. I don't need a man except for that. That phrase I've heard over and over and over. And it really makes me sad because I feel like that polarity of the feminine and masculine that can be actualized in a female body and a male body coming together, bringing all of their stuff together and communicating deeply on cellular levels. This to me is so beautiful and so powerful, and I do need that. I don't need a man to pay my bills or take care of anything for me. I've been doing that myself for many, many years through many relationships that I've had. So that's not the part of it which currently one of my really good male friends told me that this is really hard for him because that's what he valued. That's what his worth was, where he tied his worth into in relationships with women, was that he's going to provide for them. He's going to take care of them. And now women don't want that. We don't need that. And, he's like, I don't even feel valuable. Like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And the first thing I'm like, get in touch with your inner masculine. Get in touch with, I like to use astrology because I have never seen somebody not go, oh my God, that totally makes sense. I've never seen it because every single time people really, really resonate to where Mars and Venus were in the sky the moment they were born. This is so deeply tied in with our soul and our imprints on our physical body. The magnetic pools between the planets in the solar system, where everybody is in the sky at that moment, really, really is imprinted on us in our psyche, in our body, and it really helps. So I will go ahead and stop there. If you don't know your Venus and Mars, you don't have a relationship with that, I wrote a book called The Alchemy of Intimacy. You can get it for really, really inexpensively on Amazon or on my website. You can get a raw file and download it. I am doing a special right now on astrology readings up until the 21st of June. My readings are only $57, and I really can't recommend getting a reading enough, either by me or somebody else, just to help integrate this piece of information because it's important and you will find clarity on issues that, maybe aren't making sense to you right now. So thank you so much for watching the video, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.